Turmoil is one of those tracks that I've been wanting to release for the longest time. I consider it one of my favorite tracks. I have sat down and taken the time to listen to each song on the album, and I have decided that Turmoil is my top 5. This song comes right after Out of Control, and it is this perfect transition. The previous track ends with this moment of realization where, like I've said, things are not gravy. Things are not looking good. You take one step forward, and all of a sudden, you're taking 3 steps back. We are halfway through the album, and the progress seemed to have been good. And then here we go again, where it's almost like this emotional relapse where now we are dealing with, again, more problems, more trauma, more self-conflict. And, I'm having this inner battle with myself. I am struggling to decide who I am as a person. I am in this tug of war between good and bad. I am in this tug of war of what is morally correct. Turmoil has this lose yourself type of instrumental. And I think that in a way, one of the themes of the song is losing yourself. And it's also embracing that you've lost yourself. It's also embracing that you are struggling and that you have inner turmoil. But in general, it's telling you, love yourself, hate yourself, but just grow as a person, right? We're still in this process of character development like we've been talking about. And halfway through the album, we're kind of going off the reins right here. We're not following the plot. We're getting sidetracked. The road is getting rocky. And all of a sudden, you got this auto-tuned, distorted burst of energy. This angry energy of, why me, right? In Elapse, I said, why must it rain on me? Probably mentioned that before. So we've already decided that I guess it's meant to be. Turmoil was meant to be a single. It was the second song that I recorded for the album. If you want to consider, the singles from 2017 to 2018, then those are first. If you want to consider Killjoy, the remix, then that can be first. But if we're talking about, modern versions, current versions of these songs, this was absolutely the second song that I recorded for the album. And it comes right after Archives in terms of this timeline and when I have recorded these songs. And I think it's only fitting that it comes after a song where I'm trying to push down certain memories. Turmoil, like I said, we're taking 3 steps back instead of improving and moving forward. Instead of pushing those things down, I decided to you know, pulling back up, I decide to shed the light on these topics, this discussion, these memories. I decide to, you know, let people know about some things that, off the record and I should have set aside, right? That I should have buried a long time ago. And I thought I did that, but I didn't do that. Couple of things, right? Let's talk about turmoil and how I watched other people deal with it. I watched other people deal with turmoil in their own ways, and they managed to get through it. And I thought, well, if they can do it, I can do it. I feel like I did it at the end of the song, but throughout it was difficult, right? My friends all split up. They were in this bad predicament, and to be a circle, right, so small, you still could not trust each other in that friend group. They were sabotaging the circle from the inside. You didn't know who you could trust. You knew somebody was this mole, this rat, this person who's gonna ruin everything. Turns out nobody in that group was said person. It turns out everybody had problems of their own, and that some way, somehow, they're just bouncing off of each other. Somehow one has to do with the other. And, fast forward today, two of those people are soulmates. One of them has disappeared. I don't know where he went, actually. The other one is trying to return to their former glory. Because from my perspective, right, what I'm seeing right now is this person who is not who they were, and they've actually, I don't want to put things out there, but health-wise, they have let themselves go. Okay? And this is something that I talked about in Heartbeat, the title track, in the intro. I talked about my health, how I was the one who let myself go. How my health was so bad that, honestly, I felt like I was going to die. I felt like if I had kept going, that I'm going to end up 6 feet in the ground. I'm going to end up regretting everything. And today, not when I recorded the album, not when I recorded this track, but today, my health is significantly better than it was when I first started the album, when I first created it, when it was first in existence, 2018, 2017, 2016, even 2015. I feel very great. Physically. Mentally, we're still on our path to self-healing. But, physically, I feel like I'm slowly returning to this person that I once was. Hey, believe it or not, this is off topic, but believe it or not, I was skinny. And I'm not skinny right now, but I can tell you, I have been losing pounds. Oh yeah, and I'm proud of that. I'm on this journey, in that sense, making sure that my health goes in the opposite direction, and that, I can live as long as I possibly can. I want to try. I want to take care of my health. Because I see people who are barely older than me. They get into their 30s. And then out of nowhere, boom, gone. And I don't know how that happens. But you'd be surprised of who doesn't take care of their health. People who are not on a weight loss journey like me somehow damage their health in other ways, you know? And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Because I bet somebody watching this probably does it too. And who am I to judge anymore, right? Turmoil. I am dealing with turmoil. I am improving. We're taking 3 steps back, but in the end, we'll get there. Turmoil influence-wise, I'd say it is a mix of Kanye. It's definitely a mix of Kanye. It's definitely a mix of Cudi. The outro part to the song with the auto-tune and the distortion is probably going to remind you of them. But I felt like that outro perfectly described the intention of the song, you know? The chorus is catchy as I don't know what. The phrasing is... The phrasing is some good stuff. It is spot on. And, you know, I told Gabe that I drew inspiration, right? I've gotten some of these phrasings from him. I didn't pull it from songs, but working with him for so long, you start to pick up on things and you start to learn how people do certain things. I feel like I've learned from him, and I feel like I've learned how he phrases his words. And I feel like it's evident in this chorus for Turmoil. I feel like it's evident for It Can't End Like This, the final track of the album. You know, I feel like a lot of these songs has the phrasings that he would do, word articulation that he would do. I feel like in that sense, I have actually done something fresh. I have done a complete 180 from what I normally would do with my music. Instead of this predictable flow, this predictable scheme, right? If you read these lyrics on paper, they are not A, B, A, B, point A to point B. It's no longer this basic thing. Now it is spiced up. We have seasoning, you know? So, Turmoil, right? We talked about the production. We've talked about the intention. We talked about what it means. A couple of other things. Turmoil, when I think of turmoil, I think of a bubble that's about to burst. I think of lava. I think of fire, brimstone. I think of red and orange, right? When I hear turmoil. It's how I feel inside. That's what goes on in here. Perhaps it was a good decision to rearrange this track list and put Elapse earlier in the album. Because like I said, Elapse used to be number 8. It used to represent the infinity symbol because of time. But Turmoil is now number 8. Turmoil is this midway point of the album where you have to second guess. You have to think, is this guy going to reach the self-healing point? Because we made progress halfway through and suddenly he's going backwards. So is he going to make it? It kind of makes you want to tune in to the rest of the album to figure out if I'm going to make it. And I mean, you got to listen to the album to decide whether I did or not. And so, what can I say? Turmoil slaps. Regardless, it slaps. It's loud. It's bound to break your speakers if you play the song too loud, you know. I would not do that. And as a side note, there are much more deeper moments, much more deeper cuts that I'm not going to get into for this video, that I will get into for the Ventilator series. That will come after the album release. That is a video where I'm going to be talking about each year leading up to the album release and the darker moments. There is a few dark moments that caused me to make Turmoil. And it's the type of things that make you grow to resent your own family. It's the type of things to make you question, do your loved ones really love you? Do your friends really care about you? These darker moments made me feel alone. And that's what gave me so much time to deal with this turmoil. That's what gave me so much time with myself to, address this conflict. And, part of me wants to blame it on them for that. Everybody who's ever wronged me, But that is the past, and this is present day. But I want to end this on a happy note. Turmoil starts off pessimistic. It starts off rough, but it ends hopeful. It ends optimistic. It sends this album into the correct direction again, but it was a little hiccup. The video is not over. To anybody who's watching this video and hasn't heard Turmoil yet, skip, I shouldn't be saying this, but skip to verse 2, okay? Skip to verse 2 and just screw what I said earlier. Turn the volume up, all right, to max volume. Turn that up, bruh, all right? Because I swear to God, when I was in the car with Gabe and we are driving over to his house, right? We are playing the demo of Turmoil, and oh my God! Stink face. The freaking, the thump, the doubles, the ad-libs. I mean, it almost makes you want to forget everything that's happened.